I grew up wanting to be a firefighter. I did 36 years in the fire service. Of those 36 years, 32 of them I've been a paramedic. I still maintain that, and I teach young paramedics now at paramedic school. I retired as a battalion chief almost 5 years ago. I was very good at work because there was policies and procedures and ways to do things. But in my personal life, I didn't have the great boundaries. Work was everything, and I sunk myself into it. Last year, I got to a point where I was shutting down and standing on the edge of a cliff, metaphorically, of course, and not really realizing where I was. I knew I needed help and knew that there was something wrong, so I made the phone call. I'm fortunate enough that I live very close to First Responder Wellness, and I actually drove over and sat in the parking lot and looked. And then I drove across the street and made a phone call, and I checked in 3 days later. I spent 60 days in the program. One of the biggest surprises that I found walking through the doors was how welcoming everybody was. I was led up into a session that was in mid-session, and the first 4 people I saw were extremely fit, could be models, and then I realized, but we were all in the same place, and it was safe. It was okay to share and tell people, you know, your story, and they were listening because we all had our stories. The staff was absolutely amazing to begin to work with. I was fortunate enough to have a case manager that I clicked with almost instantly, and to this day I consider a very close friend and a confidant. In my retirement, one of the biggest things I found is trying to find purpose. I'm sharing my story with young folks, paramedic students, students in the fire academies. I'm trying to reach the early service and pre-service people to know that it's okay to reach out to their peer support. One of the therapeutic things that I've done is trained a peer support canine. It's amazing to watch that open people up. And one of the things that's pretty great about it is when you start to pet them, scientifically you release oxytocin, which is a pleasure hormone. It does the same thing for them. So it's a very symbiotic relationship, but it helps you open up. I've seen people who were very closed open up while petting a dog. Now looking forward, I want these young folks that are coming into this business to realize there are tools out there. You're allowed to have emotions. You're allowed to feel. You're allowed to say, I'm not okay. I really do need to talk about this.